My name's Ann. I'm an alcoholic. And I want to thank you very much for inviting me here, you and Michael. I want to tell you that I'm a car painter and a bedwetter. I like to say that right out of the gate because, you know, sometimes when you're getting all dressed up, and my sobriety date is May 18th, 1981, and it's been a long time since I've had a drink. And sometimes, you know, you can forget what it was really like. And I don't ever want to really forget what it was like because I don't ever want to have to be there again. But I want you to know that I did paint cars and I did wet the bed, and, you know, I mean, I'm just a drunk. I come from two people who love me very much, and I want to tell you, Judy, I love you every time you're here. Thank you. She was one of the people that was at the meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous when I first got here, and she loved me through my insanity, and she loves me to this day, and God, it feels good to see her, always. I have some people in this room that I sponsor. Thank you, Renee, for coming with me. I like to ride with somebody that I sponsor because we can talk on one-to-one, and it's a good thing. Anyway, I did want to tell you that I come from two people who loved me very much. I hear people get up to this podium and they say they came from people that hurt them and beat them and bad things happened to them. God, I'd have drank then too, I guarantee you. But that didn't happen to me. I have a brother who's 2 years older than I am. My parents loved me and my brother very much, and they did the very best that they could. My father was a little Portuguese man. I like to talk about him too because, you know, he drank a lot. But they talk about people like my dad in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they're called a heavy drinker. He drank, and he was crazy, and they had, you know, he lived in a little town called Tulare, California. He was a little Portuguese man, and he was loud and rowdy and obnoxious, and he was a mess. And one night, one of his buddies got his finger cut off in a bar fight, and they took him to the Tulare hospital in the emergency room. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in a room full of drunk Portuguese people, but don't say Portuguese if you're not Portuguese because we don't like it. Anyway, in a group of these drunk Portuguese men, and they were loud, and when they speak Portuguese, you shush. You get a lot of spit in your mouth, and you shush a lot. And they're drunk, and they're shooting, and they're talking, and they're loud, and they're obnoxious. And the doctor tells this little nurse, 21 years old from Kansas, you go out there and you tell those people to be quiet. This is a hospital. So out she went, this little girl. And she went out there and she said, you guys have to be quiet. This is a hospital. This is an emergency room. You people are supposed to be quiet. And this man, he turned around and he looked at that little woman and he said, I'm going to marry you someday. And he did. And see, that was my mom and dad. And the drinking that my dad did caused problems in their marriage, and he quit. Can you just imagine? See, I don't understand that. They talk about people like my dad in the big book. He's what you call a heavy drinker. You fall in love. You find a reason. A doctor tells you have some good reason to stop drinking, and you can. He used to say things to me like, muster it up, Ann. Muster it up. Remember who you are and who you come from, and just don't drink. Jesus, I mustered it up. And I drank anyway. I had a little 8-year-old girl that is sober 2.5 years now. Her name's Lori. She's at home. She was 8 years old when I got here, and she bobbed and weaved for the first 4 years. I tell you moms that because I want you to know that if you have children and they're bobbing and weaving, that the women in this room will teach you how to be a mom, and the men in this room will teach the men how to be dads. And I give you my word of honor, soon your children will stop bobbing and weaving. It took her 4 years because, see, I'm crazy when I drink. I'm crazy. Anyway, this little Portuguese man, he just was the coolest little guy. And my mother was a nurse, and she was kind. My brother is 2 years older than me. He never drank like me. Never. I don't know, but I know I shocked those people a lot. I know I did. Anyway, my mom and dad, they took us to this church. It was right down the street, right down there. And, you know, these feelings inside to me, they had to be your fault, or her fault, or their fault, or somebody else's fault. These feelings, they can't be coming from me, because I've always been afraid. You have always scared me. People have always scared me. How are you? I'm fine. I've always been terrified. People have always, but I learned when I was a little bitty kid, if you put a smile on your face and you're just fine, people leave you alone. I'm fine. How are you, Ann? I'm fine. How's school? Fine. How's everything going? Fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Just fine. Thanks. And they just kind of skirt on around you because you're not creating any problems. There are no problems. You're just fine. So they're doing a good, everybody just leaves you alone. You're fine. Everything's fine. Scared to death all the time. Anyway, part of being in this family is we'd go to this little church, and big church. And I blamed this church for a long time, too. And, you know, the longer that I'm sober, the more that I understand. My brother never acted weird. He never acted like that. It was me. I have a disease from twisted perception, my grand sponsor says. I hear he was here last week. Anyway, it's a disease of twisted perception. And I hear things. You say, I love you, and I go, what do you want? So anyway, I went to this church, and I was always just terrified. I hated this part. It was Friday night or Saturday at noon, and you'd go into this, you know, you'd walk down this, and you'd get all lined up on the walls. And my brother, I'd put him in front of me because I was scared, but I was fine and smiling. And he is in front of me, and he's calm. He's a very calm man. He'd go into that little room, and he'd do what he was supposed to do, and he'd come out and go to the front of the church, get on his knees, and I'd go in that little bitty room. It's very, very dark in those little bitty rooms if you've never been in one of them, and this little door slides open. And I lied. I always lied. I made up shit. I couldn't help it. I just would lie in there because, I mean, like, how bad can you be when you're like 9 years old? But, you know, I don't care. I lied, and I just made up this stuff, and I had this attitude, and it's been with me all my life. And the attitude was this. The guy's never even been married before. What do you know about life? I'm not going to tell him. It's none of his business. You know, when you have an attitude like that and you're a little bitty kid, that attitude can cause you problems when you get older. It's just not, it's none of his business. None of your business either for a long time in Alcoholics Anonymous. How are you, Ann? I'm fine. How's everything going? Fine. Everything's just fine. Thanks. I'll come and I'll tell you, and I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but there's a part of me that's none of your business, and I'm not going to tell you. And it can kill me. It can kill me. But my back has to be against the wall, and then I'm going to tell you, it's gotten a lot easier the longer that I'm sober, but I have to tell you that that's part of me. It's none of your business. That's what it is. But I'm fine, and always smiling, and always kind of nice. I'm nice. I was very nice. Fine. Just fine. I found in Alcoholics Anonymous in my inventory that if you keep me afraid for a long enough period of time, you see, I become angry. And if you keep me angry for a long enough period of time, and I'm always smiling and fine, see, I become enraged. And you keep me enraged for a long enough period of time, and you put a few drinks in me, and see, I'll just do strange and bizarre things. I like this part. I was going with the Norwalk sheriff. And he had hurt my feelings badly. Now, when I'm drinking, don't ever hurt my feelings, because I just, you know, I'm fine and everything's fine, and I'm not going to tell you, because, see, I don't want you to leave. So I won't tell you. Don't do that to me. It makes me feel bad about myself. Please don't talk to me like that. I don't like it when you do that, because I'm fine, and I can't tell you because I don't want you to go. I'm afraid if I tell you what I really feel that you might leave me, and I don't want to be left. So I'm just, everything's fine, but you hurt my feelings, and I don't know what to do. So at around 9:30, 9:45 on a Thursday night, there was a place called National Lumber on Woodruff. I went into that store and I bought myself 3 quarts, not spray crap, none of that spray stuff, you know. No, I mean quartz, the enamel, and a screwdriver, 3 quarts, screwdriver. Drive over to the Norwalk Sheriff Station parking lot. It was over there. It's the old one, the little, you know, the beat up one, not that big fancy new one that they have over there. Right now, there's a little mall in there now. I was so shocked when I drove by there. There's this little, you know, shopping center in there. It was very weird. Anyway, there was this old beat-up police station, and this sheriff, he was in there, and I just walked in there with my bag. I found his green Cougar. I started in the front. I popped the first lid of that red paint, threw it on the top, second lid, threw it on the top, the very top, the back. Watched these 3 quarts of red paint drip off this green Cougar for a few seconds. I mean, I was drunk, but I wasn't stupid. There was police cars going in and out and in and out and in and out, and I can see them. See, I don't care, because when I'm up to here and I don't know how to tell you and I don't know what to do and I get enough booze in me, see, it doesn't matter what you do to me. I don't care. So I grabbed those 3 cans and the lids and the screwdriver, because like I said, I was drunk, but I wasn't stupid. My fingerprints could have been on there. You know what I mean? Like, why are we thinking like this? I don't know. Anyway, and I throw that stuff in there, and I found a Dipsy dumpster, and I drove home and wait for the call. Around 11 o'clock, phone rings. Ann, you're not going to believe this. Really? Someone's painted my car. No kidding. Must have been one of those trustees or somebody I arrested followed me in here and painted my car. Wow, man, that's too bad. I'll be home as soon as I can. I got some of this paint off the car. Okay. And you hang up and you feel real good, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how to tell you, please don't do that to me. I don't like it when you talk to me like that. It makes me feel bad inside. Please don't do that to me. Don't talk to me like that. Please don't treat me like that. I don't know. I don't like it when you do that. So I just get enough booze in me, see, and then I just don't care. How are you, Ann? I'm fine. Everything's fine. Part of being a mom, too, is, you know, I knew that I hear people get up this podium, and I believe them. Maria and I was talking about this on the way here, and they say that they didn't know alcohol was causing them a problem before they got here. I believe you because you're at the podium, and I believe what you say. But I knew when I put booze in me, I was weird, man. I mean, I did weird stuff. I was crazy. But if some people say that they didn't know that alcohol was their problem, I knew. And I drank. I wouldn't paint your car if I was sober. But I wouldn't have the courage to walk into that police station if I was sober. But when I get a few drinks in me, see, I don't care. It turns off the button that says I care. I don't care. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. See, when you find something that does that for a person like me who's afraid all the time, I get up in the morning and I'm afraid. I go to school and I'm afraid. I get on the bus and I don't look at people in the face. I look out the window. I'm afraid all the time, but I never act like it. When you find something that works that good, that turns that button off, it's hard to give it up for me. Anyway, here I am, you know, and I knew that as long as I had a clean house and that there was groceries in my refrigerator, I wasn't an alcoholic. I knew that. I made that up. You know, that was long after drinking in the morning, long after doing things that you say you're not going to do, long after really knowing, wow, this is creating a problem for me. But I had a spotless house. Alcoholics don't have houses, and if they do, they're filthy. And I mean, I knew that. And my house was spotless. You could eat off my floor. I mean, it was spotless because that made me not an alcoholic in my own little mind. So what I did was I would run to the store. It was a Tuesday, and I would run to the store, and it was very close to the end of my drinking. And I left this little girl in the garage with these Mormon kids. Now, if you're a Mormon, don't get on me because you know what? I just don't want to hear about it, but I hated these kids. They were 5 beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, perfect little Mormon children that lived across the street from me. And I just hated them so bad. I hated their mom, too. And I know in my inventory that the reason that I hated those kids and I hated their mother is that every Sunday morning, see, I'd be looking out my front window. And I have just done something really ugly the night before. I couldn't remember what it was, but I knew it was ugly. Do you know what I'm talking about? That thing, you know you've done something, boy, and it wasn't good. Nobody's told you yet. You know they're gonna, but, you know, they're hoping that. And you know it was ugly, and you feel real bad, and you don't know how you got home, and it was just ugly, and you're looking out the window, and you see these 5 beautiful little children come walking out, and they're all clean. And you see their mom, she comes walking out, and she's in her nice little dress. And here comes the dad, and he's dressed in his suit. And they get in their little Taurus station wagon. How lame is that? And they drive off to their church, see? And when I don't know how to get where you are, the only thing that makes it possible for me to be able to stand it is that I just have to hate you. Works for me. If I don't know, if I can't get to what you're at, if I don't know how to get there. See, all I've ever wanted to do is be a good mom, be a good wife, do what I'm supposed to do, and I can't do it. So I had to hate her. She had to be wrong. Her kids had to be. I left those little 5 kids and my kids. She's lip syncing to a song, Debbie Boone, You Light Up My Life, you know. That was cool then, too. Anyway, and I go off to the market. And the way that I can do this is that it's one of those nights that I'd overshot the night before. Now, all you have left, you've woke up. It's bad. It's Tuesday morning. You haven't got nothing left. You look in the refrigerator, look everywhere you possibly can. You're trying to find something. You've got to have a drink. I mean, I need a drink. This is not, am I going to get up this morning, am I going to have a cup of coffee, I'm going to have a Coke. I need a drink. That's what it is. It's towards the end of my drinking. There is no option. I need a drink. I get up in the morning, I drink. I drink all day long just to keep level, just to be able to show up for life. I have to have a drink. I get up and there's nothing there. I see this half glass of wine's got a cigarette butt in there, but I'm running around. You know, there's got to be more somewhere. And there's not. And you go back to that half a glass of wine and you take that cigarette butt out of there, flick that baby out of there and drink it. That was my cigarette butt in there anyway, like who cares? It was one of those mornings. It was a bad morning. You got that half a glass of wine and you're shaking like a, you know, sweating like a pig. And you drive off to the store. Because I got to have groceries. I got to have groceries. And my house I have to clean. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not. And you leave this kid in the garage and you head on out. And you go to the store. And you run over there. And the only way that I can do this, see, is I got to line the whole bottom of my cart with my booze. I drink Gallows Pink Chablis because I'm a fine connoisseur of wine. And vodka. Lucky's brand was good enough. I had Lucky's then, you know, just Lucky's brand. And I mean, you buy the half gallons. None of that little shit. I hear people get up this podium and they talk about a dog ear, dog leg, some tiny little bottle. Why? Big. I want big. I don't want to be running out. I need big. I need large. I'll pour it into something small, but I want big. I don't want to buy no little stuff. I need big. So the whole cart is lined up with my Gallows Pink Chablis and my vodka. I mixed it with Diet Coke, too. It's fine. Took the hair right off the back of your neck. It was good. Anyway, and you know, you'd line up this thing and then you'd run around the market and you'd buy all the stuff that makes you look like a good mom. Like you buy bread and eggs and meat like you're going to cook. Like what? I mean, you know, but you buy all this stuff, fruit and all this stuff, and you run around and buy all that stuff, and then you run back over to the liquor section and you get yourself 2 cans Mai Tais, 7 different kinds of rum, black stuff floated on the top. It lit on fire. I lit it on fire one time and pressed the heck out of me. I mean, you know, it's just weird stuff like that that gets me excited. Anyway, I knew there was a lot of alcohol in there. And there's Mai Tais in the can. So you get those 2, and then you run up to the check stand. Now you're sweating real bad. Now you're shaking and you're sweating, and now I just need to get out of here. Get me out of here. You know how panicked we get when we need a drink? I need out of here. So you get up there, and you make sure that that lady puts those 2 cans in a brown paper bag so you can find them in the plastic bags. So then she packs it all up, and you run out to the car. You leave your groceries in the cart. You find that brown paper bag. You open up your car door. You sit in your car door, and you fire that first baby down. If you understand that, you're in the right place. I'd fire that baby down, and from the very first time that I have ever had a drink to the last time that I had a drink, fire that baby down, it goes down inside of me, and it just, oh, Jesus. It don't matter so much that your car, you know, that your groceries are out in the sun. It don't matter. You find that other, you know, and you fire that second baby down, and wow, I'm at least going to be able to get home. I'm going to be able to keep my skin on. That's alcoholism, see? It's an isolation, a desperation, and a loneliness that only we know. You cannot explain what that feels like to another living, breathing human being unless they understand. And you sit there and you let that baby hit. Jesus. And you get those groceries and you drive home. And you find that little girl in the garage and she's still out there in control, leading them little Mormon kids. And my little girl wants to keep me happy. So what you do is you pop the trunk of that car, and your little girl and all these little Mormon kids are running around, and they start grabbing the bags, and she drops the bag that's got some of my vodka, and it splatters all over the garage floor, and my brain says, you did that on purpose. So what I have to do is, I have to get her down on the floor in front of those Mormon kids and start choking her because my head said she did that on purpose. I need that drink. I don't want that, you know? And the thing that makes you let that kid go is if one of those kids that are staring at you very oddly drops any more, see, I'm going to blow up right in front of them. I'm just going to explode right in front of them. I just knew it. So you grab one of those bags away from those kids and you run in the house and you don't use a glass. You just fire that baby down again and again and again and again until it just goes. And the thought occurs to me, I probably ought to go out and say something to them kids. But see, if I go out and say something to those children, then I'm going to have to really look at the way that I look, and I'm not quite ready yet to look at the way that I'm drinking. So what I do is what I've done all my life. I put a smile on my face, start talking real fast. Well, come on, you guys. We got these groceries. We got this stuff. I got goodies here for you guys. Come on, let's go in the house. And it's you start moving. You just start moving real fast, and you talk real fast. You keep smiling, and these kids are going, and your daughter's looking at you, and she's going, it's going to be okay now. Everybody moves slow, and they pick up the bags, and everybody goes in the house, and nobody says nothing. You live like that day after day after day after day. And your children, see, my mother, my daughter was the mom. At 4 o'clock in the morning, see, she's the one that picks me up in the hall when I'm on my knees crying. And she's 8 years old, and she comes out of her room, and she puts her arms around me, and she says, Mama, everything's going to be okay. She puts me back to bed. When you get sober, see, it has to turn. And I had to become the parent, and I didn't know how to do that. And thank God for the women in these rooms. Teach you how to be a mom. Teach you how to take your place so that your children can have the blessing of being small children that they are, instead of the adult trying to take care of me. I want to tell you just one time about, I did have some fun drinking. I don't want you to think that it was all just like in the toilet. There was some fun. Disco dancing. We were doing it. There were these blue glittery shoes. They were platform shoes like these, but they had glitter glued all the way around the bottom, and they had this bowl that was in this bar, Basin Street. That's where I drank. Not the new fancy one over there on Lakewood, the toilet over there by Sears in the back where the parking lot is. Old Basin Street. Anyway, they had this ball, and the light would hit it, and it'd flash on these mirrors and on this ball and come down and reflect on my shoes, and I was hot, and I knew it while I was looking at it. Now, what you do is, see, I can't go anywhere without a drink. So you have 4 or 5 drinks. You have 4 or 5 drinks while you're getting ready, because, you know, it's scary to go in a bar sober. I mean, I got to get fired up. So you get home, you have 4 or 5 drinks, and you get your face on, you get your little shoes on, you get your little short skirts. We wore really short skirts then, disco. Oh, man, we were cool. You had to have a partner. That was a little tricky for me, but, you know, you can do it when you have to. Anyway, here we are, and I'm got 4 or 5 drinks, maybe 6, depending. And then you head on over to the bar and bust through that door like you own the place, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you have 4 or 5 more. And at the end of my drinking, there's 4 or 5 more, maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know, but here she'd come. Oh, Jesus. Can you just shut up? Can you just dance? Can you just have a good time? Can you just shut your mouth and dance and have a good time tonight? No. See, by now, I don't know which drink it's going to be. But this is, you know, I mean, it's causing me a lot of grief now. And no, I cannot. I don't know what it is, but this rage, you know, this person that's inside, the hostile, angry, just enraged person who's always fine. I don't know what drink it's going to be now, but it's, you know, whatever one it's going to be. And here she comes. Just shut up. And I can't. And it's right there. And I stand toe-to-toe to the biggest idiot in there and say stupid things to him like, go ahead and hit me, I dare you. And they do. See, now you have blood coming out of both of your eyebrows. Because when you get me that far gone, you cannot possibly shut me up with one pop. You got pop, pop, you got to hit me twice. Lay me out. See, I got blood coming out of both my eyebrows, and I'm going, why do you talk like that? Why do you act like that? Why are you so angry? We were not raised like that. What is the matter with you? And what I learned from that is, you know, there's bad people out in those bars. You better start drinking at home. That's it. Has nothing to do with my drinking. Had nothing to do with it. It's just bad folks are out there now, and you better start drinking at home. That is it. Very shortly after that day that I had gone to the market and had come back and had choked my daughter, it was very close. There was a woman down at the TikTok, and what I do for a living is that I cut people's hair. And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all the booze that I had drank that morning, because see, I got to get fired up to be able to go to work. I can't do anything. I can't go to the market. I can't go to the store. I can't go anywhere. I can't go shopping. I can't go to work. I can't go to the movies. I can't go anywhere without a drink. I can't drive without a drink. I can't live without a drink. So here I am, and I'm firing down this booze, and I'm getting ready to go to work. And by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this hole comes raging. I've heard about this hole, and I understood it the minute that I heard it. Food doesn't fill this hole. Nothing fills that hole but a drink. I need a drink. Alcoholism, for me, is isolation, desperation, loneliness. This hole comes, and I know that a drink will make it go away. I know that. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd go down to this TikTok, and there was a woman there named Marianne. She was a fine member of Alcoholics Anonymous. She never said to me, "You drink too much." She'd sell me that wine, and every once in a while she'd say, "I want you to come out and listen to this tape." It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I have customers coming in. I need a drink. Okay, fine. All right, fine, fine. Okay, so I'm sitting out there, and she pops in this tape of this old guy, and he says, "Alcoholics Anonymous." Made me know she had something to do with that, Alcoholics Anonymous. And he had this tee-hee-hee little laugh. I didn't understand anything he said, but he said Alcoholics Anonymous, and he had tee-hee-hee. And his name was Chuck C. And when I got to the end of my drinking, I called this woman because of that stupid tape. And I said, "Marianne, I think I drink too much." She said, "Oh, I've been waiting for you for such a long time." Wow. I just want you to know that Chuck C. bumped my car one time. And, you know, I don't like it when you bump my car. But Chuck C. bumped my car and put a dent in it. I was so proud of that. There are people like that are in Alcoholics Anonymous that make massive impacts on your life. And you're real lucky when you get to be around them and spend time with them. And they touch your soul. Thank you. Anyway, I get to Alcoholics Anonymous. She says, do you think you cannot drink for a half an hour? Oh, geez. I didn't drink before I called her. Big mistake. Now, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. I have not had a drink yet. I should have had a drink before I called this woman, but I called her first, and I said, oh, geez, I'll try. See, that's the best I can do. I can't say for sure that I'm not going to have a drink in a half an hour. I mean, I need to drink right this second. I need to drink the minute I got up. I needed to drink when I was making that phone call. I need to drink when I'm talking to her. I need to drink. I'll try, Marion. One half an hour later, she called me back. She said, we're going to go to a meeting in Bellflower. Bellflower. Geez, man, that's where I work. I said, don't worry, it'll be okay. Huh. She said, it's at the Woman's Club. The Woman's Club? My God, somebody's going to see me. I said, no, I'll be okay, honey. Everything will be okay. I want you to get there about a half an hour early. It's a real busy meeting. If I'd known where I was going, I wouldn't have gone. Huh. At that time, you had to walk up these stairs. On both sides of these stairs, these clean little people say, hi, I'm Carol. Hi, I'm Fred. Hi, I'm married. Oh, my God. They're all clean and scrubbed and all sober and just happy, you know. And I'm going, oh, my God, I've made a terrible mistake here. I need a drink. That's what I need to do. But I'm halfway up there. Seeing that pride and arrogance? That pride and arrogance and that ego of mine that most of the time kicks my butt, every once in a while, it saves me. Because, see, I have too much pride to let you know that I'm afraid. So I just shook their hand back and walked in there like I owned that joint, too. I walked in there, and Marion comes running over to me, and she said, I have a seat for you. And I counted the rows, and I know what that seat is. It was in the second row. Second row, third seat in. That's my seat. I counted the rows because we've moved. But I want to know who's sitting in my seat. See, that's my seat. You can get sober in that seat. I can point it out to you. It's my seat. Anyway, I got up and I said, my name's Ann, and I'm an alcoholic, and sat down for the first time in a long time and cried. When you're an alcoholic woman like me and you have drank and done the things that I have done, you do not cry and you do not show them. Not ever. It is very dangerous to drink and cry. You never cry. You never show weakness. You never, ever, ever cry. And I sat down and cried. I don't know why I cried, but I was so glad to be somewhere. I was so glad not to be wet in the bed. I was so glad to have a clean dress on and to be able to drive my car. I was so grateful that the woman was there like she said she was going to be there. There was hope. I sat down and I cried, and I'm going to tell you that the first 4 years of my sobriety, I was so grateful. I know some of you who are newcomers here aren't grateful, aren't happy, are really miserable that you're here, but I want you to know that if you just stay long enough, the miracle will happen and you will be glad that you're here. I give you my word. Yeah, I might hate it right now, but for me, that wasn't the case. See, I believe that Alcoholics Anonymous works really good when you're desperate. And see, I was really desperate. I didn't have one more scam, one more good idea. I didn't have one more tricky little thought. I didn't have nowhere else to. I was done. And when you're as desperate as I was to find a solution to this problem that's killing me, Alcoholics Anonymous was good for me. I was married at the time to a hymn. Women like me have hymns. I didn't live with him, but I was married. Sort of. He was in this program too, and he said, do you want to go on a cruise? Cruise. Ooh. Free. Free. Ooh. I like that. I've never been on a cruise. Free. Ooh, good. We were going with sober people. I knew I wasn't going to get drunk. 2.5 months later, I come home with this fast-growing tumor in my belly. His name's Matthew. I didn't see him for 2.5 months after that either. I mean, it was like on and off. I mean, we were married, sort of. Seriously. Anybody that comes into this meeting, and if you're sitting in this meeting and somebody gets up to this podium and they tell you that your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, that they're coming back, they're lying. I'm going to tell you that right out of the gate right now. That's God's business. If they're coming back, they're coming back, but if you're banking on it, it can kill you. It can distract you from the meeting. It can distract you from the people. He never did come back. It's God's business. It wasn't mine. I tried hard. It was my 3rd marriage. I'm going to have a baby, and he's not there. Go and have amniocentesis. It's perfect, and he was a boy. Wow, cool. I'd opened a beauty salon in sobriety. It was great. Judy took care of the paperwork. It was going like a rocket. I mean, it's just, you know, you mind your own business, and you work the first tradition on that, and you do whatever's best for the whole, and that thing is still going 20 years later. It's just an amazing thing that happens. Alcoholics, we can have it all. We can have a dream. You have a dream in your mind. You stay sober. You come to these meetings. You do the things you're supposed to be doing. You have that dream, and you kick it in, and crazy people like you will come over and help me paint brown dryer chairs black to go with the decor. Can you stand it? It's an amazing thing what alcoholics can do when you get going in the right direction and you have a whole bunch of people they're going in the right direction. And the only thing that the people in this room want to do is to see you get better. What a deal. What a deal. Anyway, I say, Lori, that's my daughter. I don't ask him. I mean, like, you know, I don't even see him half on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. What are we going to do? She says, well, we're going to keep him, Mom. I'm going to tell you this because there's a lot of women in this room, and I want you to know that if you've ever eliminated a child from yourself, so have I. I don't talk about it all of the time, but I want you to know that you can stay sober with the agony. I couldn't do it again sober, but I've done it before, and I didn't want to do it again. And you can stay sober with the pain, I guarantee you. You can stay sober with any pain in Alcoholics Anonymous if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, giving it away. Anyway, circumstances beyond my control, this child comes out mentally and physically retarded. I hate your guts. People get up to this podium and they go, and the loving God that I found here in Alcoholics Anonymous. People get up to this podium and they go, and the loving God that I found here in Alcoholics Anonymous. See, I'm still in there. That raging woman is still in there. I'm fine. I come into meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm going to tell you almost all of it, but there's a part of me that's none of your business. I didn't tell anybody for a year. I did not come to meetings and tell people. I couldn't let it out. I couldn't discuss it. There was a very small circle of people that knew about my son, and the rest of you, how's your boy? Fine. How's your husband? Fine. How's that beauty shop? Fine. Everything's just fine. None of your business either. I can't tell. I don't know why I couldn't tell. I just couldn't. This little boy, see, I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, and here's another twisted perception. Don't ask me where these kinds of things come from. But I believed that I was being good, that bad things weren't going to happen to me. See, you got to learn in Alcoholics Anonymous from me. I had to learn that it's life on life's terms. What I learned in Alcoholics Anonymous is I learned how to live. Good days, bad days, life on life's terms, retarded children, losing people, losing jobs, exactly what you were talking about. Life on life's terms, without a drink, staying sober, doing what you're supposed to be doing. See, I didn't know that. I'm being good here. Nothing bad's supposed to be happening to me. That's not, nobody ever got up to this podium and told me that. See, that's my own twisted perception. I'm being so good here. What is this? You hate me. I hate you too. I actually thought that God had sucked me in for those years and was beginning to let me believe that there was hope for me. And then here's your reward. I thought it was a payoff. The loving God that I have in Alcoholics Anonymous today cries when children are born. Broken. The God of my understanding that I found in Alcoholics Anonymous cries when I cry. My God does not punish me. He loves me on a continual basis. My sponsor told me that there are things of this earth, and that's what my son is. That was because of this earth. It was not because God punished me. He is a gift from God, and I want you to know that. He is 17 years old, and he thrills my soul. He was the biggest fearful. I was terrified. I couldn't tell anybody, but I want you to know that today he's everything good inside of me he brought back. My parents put really good things inside of me when I was a small child, and one by one drink at a time, I chunked them, and I was nothing when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous started putting me back together, and here comes this child, and I'm thinking, this is it. And one day at a time, see, he loves me unconditionally. He loves me in the morning when I'm butt ugly. He loves me in the morning when I have bad breath. He loves me in the morning all the time, all the time. I've never loved anybody or anything unconditionally in my life. I love you, but I want. I love you, but I need. I love you, and I don't want it now. Give me, fix me, buy me right now. Right now, I want big. Still, large, lots. You can't ever fill the hole inside of me. I want this, you give it to me, now I want that. I want this, you tell me that you love me, okay? That ain't right, love me more. You cannot possibly fill the hole in me, and it's an inside job, but I didn't know. God fills the hole in my life today. This little boy has made it possible for me to understand. His loving God fills my soul, fills his soul. He loves me unconditionally. I can love him unconditionally. I love him unconditionally. I can love you unconditionally. I love you unconditionally, then I can begin to love me. I hear people get up to this podium and they say they come to a few meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous and love myself. Good for you. When you have been where I have been and you have done the things that I have done, I didn't come to a few meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous and love myself. It didn't work like that for me. It was hard, long, solid, consistent, going to meetings, doing the steps, working a program, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, changing sponsors. I had to change sponsors because I knew. See, I turned that woman into my mom. She was a fine, good woman in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I began to be afraid to tell the slime stuff that goes on in a head like mine. I wanted to be her best baby. I wanted her to be proud of me. I didn't want to tell her any crappy thing that I was thinking in there. And a lot of stuff on a good day when the birds are singing, pew, some weird goes in there. Floats around. Pew, here comes something else floating around in there again. Oh, my God. See, when I leave that around in there and I'm afraid to tell somebody and it's floating around in a head like mine, see, I think I have to act on that. Get me in a lot of trouble that way. I tell my sponsor everything. Every slimy little crummy thing that I think. I just tell him everything, and I said him, and I don't care what you think about that. Because if it wasn't for him, I'd be dead. Because he scares me just that much. Because if you don't scare me, I won't do it. That's another weird little thing about me. See, I have to be afraid of you just a little bit. I have to respect you and be afraid of you a little bit, or I'm not going to do it. He scares me to this very night, just a little bit. Alcoholics Anonymous has given me a personal dignity about myself. It has helped me to walk through the death of my mother, the death of my father, and a little boy who has grand mal seizures and sometimes poops his pants. One day, I was complaining, my little boy, I just got him ready, and he's 17. I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm in the bathroom yelling. We've been doing this for 17 years, boy. When are you going to get it? Wash him off, put clean underpants on him, get him ready to go, and take him off, and it's just, I'm feeling sorry for me. I went to a meeting that night, and there was a woman there, and she was all falutin'. She was one of them West, L.A. broads, cool, fancy. She had money. She was telling her little story, and I'm going to sit down when I tell you this because it's real important to me. I come to Alcoholics Anonymous, I do the steps, I work with people, I sponsor people, I do what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm sitting in that meeting, and this woman is talking, and she was kind of just, going along, and I knew she was an alcoholic, I could tell her. And right 5 minutes before she sat down, and she said that her beautiful son that she had been talking about through this whole meeting, and her beautiful daughter and her beautiful son, who was an athlete, was killed in a car accident a few months before. And it caught me just bam, because I'm sitting in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and the solution comes for me. I have never washed poop off my son's butt again without thinking of that woman, because I know that lady, if she could wash poop off her kid's butt, she'd do anything. See, the answers come from me like that, because that's just the way I am. I'm not real bright, I'm not college educated, but when you hit me right in the face like that, and I understand that that woman would do anything to have her son back. And I just grab my boy and I hug him and kiss him because, see, I can at least talk to him. I love him. He loves me. What a miracle for me. I need to come to Alcoholics Anonymous, get off the pity pot, and understand that I am truly blessed. And it happens to me over and over and over and over and over. 8 years sober I was. I can't possibly sponsor anyone. I'm too busy. I'm running the shop. I have this little boy. Hole is raging back in the middle of my gut one more time. My sponsor says, "Who are you sponsoring?" I said, "Oh, well, I can't really." The next maniac comes in this room, you're sponsoring her. You get this hole. You got 8 years of sobriety. Everything's going good. You've lived through all this stuff. Blonde, bleach blonde, spiked hair, stands up, about 6 foot tall. She's mine. Psycho is her name. I was doing all 11 steps real good. I knew there was 12, but I mean, that's for you guys. The whole comes back, and I sponsor numerous people today. Not for them, not because I'm good, but because it fills the hole inside of me. My sponsor says that if you empty yourself of self, you're automatically full of God, and when I'm listening to them and not thinking about me, my life is real good. I want to thank you for the dignity that I live with today.